Chett, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming over. It's a little known fact that you are one of the best elk callers in the world.
I would not go as far as to say the world. Durham still exists.
Yes, but I would definitely put you in the same wheelhouse as a lot of those world-renowned callers.
That is flattering, but it's hard because you don't hear yourself from in front of the tube.
Right?
It's from behind, and so you just don't. I don't think I sound like I know I'm good, but I don't.
Yeah.
To be up there with Big Dirk, that's.
Oh yeah, I'll quit flattering you, but just needless to say, he's gonna compete. I'm gonna convince him to compete one of these years. So, you got this. So I invited you here so you would teach me a little bit of methodology on how you bugle. Maybe you can teach me some pointers. I don't think I'm a bad caller. I just feel like anytime I can learn, especially from someone who's better than me, it'd be great. So first off, I've got two different tubes. I like this one because it's harder. I can rake trees with it and break branches, and it doesn't thump as loud whenever I hit stuff with it.
That's nice.
That's one thing that bugs me about most tubes when you're walking and it
Clank.
slips and it hits something and creates a really loud, like glunk.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But I've been told this one makes a better sound than this one. So.
Well, we can play around and find out.
All right. I'm going to be using this one. I just bought this reed. I'll show the camera. It's the Easy Cow. I know it's meant for making cow noises, but I actually really enjoy bugling with it. But I've also got the Maverick, and I've also got Pitch Black #1. If you can see that, it's blurry. Oh well. Anyway, these are my three favorite reeds to use. What reed are you using?
So I run the Phelps calls. I have tried Rocky Mountain, tried Primos. Rocky Mountain were really good and durable. I think they've lasted the longest. But with Phelps, I like the way they fit in my mouth. They're a little softer on my mouth, and I like the sound I get out of them. So I'll typically go through a set about a year, or more, just playing around, practicing up, just kind of like shooting your bow, getting ready for September. What's going on? I'm going to be running. It's their amp, if it picks it up, the black series, not the pitch black. I guess it's not.
The black amp.
Yeah, just the black amp.
Well, why don't you demonstrate what a good bugle sounds like? Just a normal, good, like, if you were location bugle, what does that look like?
So location bugles, they're not aggressive in any way. They're a really high-pitched ring to really get it put out there. Other people may disagree or they have something different in their area, but this is kind of what I've noticed in our area, as well as I'm not coming up with this stuff. This is stuff I'm reading online, things that I'm trying to get to know the species I'm hunting more. And so the best way I can do that to learn is to just listen to them.
Okay.
And then in doing that, you can tell their language, like you can learn their language almost just by their emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And the emotion that's in their bugle and in their talk. And so for our area, where we hunt, and the location bugle, it's typically that really high-pitched ring with little to no rasp at the end, just really trying to get vocals out there.
Yeah.
It'll go a little bit like this. Something to that extent.
Let me try that. I'll try it with this one first.
Okay.
Now I noticed you did a little bit of a lip buzz at the end instead of a voice growl. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people call it the lip ball. It's just kind of what I do, the habit I've gotten into, I guess. There's I wouldn't say a right or wrong answer. I mean, before I really got into calling and learning and practicing with the calls, that's how I could do it. I didn't know about the lip buzz and making your lips vibrate. And so I just used my voice, and I mean, that's what we all did before.
Yeah.
What is this, 5 years ago probably?
Right.
And
Before Joel Turner.
and it's...
We all learned from Joel Turner how to do the lip ball.
Yeah.
Right? Or the bull calling cows bugle is what he called it on his video.
Yeah, there's that one. Yeah, that one sparked my interest into calling and really helped. But so I mean, we did it for years before, calling in elk after elk, and I'll bet you there's 100 elk plus through the group of 5 guys, 6 guys that hunt pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
So it's worked. Nothing. I mean, there's anything. Just listen to the elk, and I've had elk respond to a whistle. I've whistled,
Yeah.
and I've had elk respond. So it's just they get in the heat of the moment.
So how did my location bugle sound to you?
Good. It sounded really good.
And
Just a long, high-pitched ring, and then just right at there at the end. No aggression, no hard lip buzz, or even the voice. Just it sounds non-threatening.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if you're trying to find someone, you're not yelling, "Hey, someone get over here and help me!" Right?
Right.
It's help.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was great.
Well, let me show you the difference between these 2 tubes, and you tell me which one sounds better.
Perfect.
So I did this one first.
Yeah.
Now I'll do this one. This one's from Mile High Note Game Calls, and this one is from Rocky Mountain Game Calls.
I think I like that one better.
This one? At least close up?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so far I tried the Rocky Mountain tube again though. Yeah, that one sounds a little more plasticky than that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I use this one anyway most of the time.
There you go. Best of both worlds.
Yeah. Awesome. I'll set this one down. I still use it occasionally. It's my backup.
I have one of those lost somewhere.
So do I.
On a hike with you.
That's right. Actually, yours was, I think, the smaller version, but I do remember that. I remember the exact spot, too. I think someone else picked it up.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. Okay, well, then let's move into the, what we just mentioned, the bull calling cows bugle.
Okay. That is, look up Joel Turner's bull calling cows bugle. It's on YouTube. He'll probably explain it a lot better than I will, but I think he's got it down. I've had similar experiences with it that I've helped come screaming into it, and I've had encounters with bulls that they don't really like me bugling, so I've switched to just cows, and they've just, within 100 yards or so, they've just been screaming like that the whole time, frustrated, saying, "Come here." And so I would argue that it's probably the correct how he's named it. It's the bull calling cows, and it's any bull telling the cows, "Come over here, I've got a herd," I think.
And it's really effective.
Yeah.
Especially within that, within 200 yards.
Yeah, it's definitely, and I don't even know if it's that far of a call. I think it's a call that when you're in close, that you're threatening another bull's herd, and you throw that call telling other cows to come here.
Mm-hmm.
But if you throw that call at 200 yards away, he'll take his herd and leave. Mm-hmm. That's our area. That's typically, I mean, makes
sense.
That's how it goes. That's how I've experienced it.
Yeah. Well, why don't you demonstrate it for me, and then I'll try to mimic.
It's a really kind of a short, aggressive bugle. There's a short version of the high pitch, and then just a really hard rasp. Whether you do it with your voice or the lip ball, I like the lip ball because it sounds a lot more aggressive than my voice.
It sounds a little more authentic, I think.
Yeah. So the bull calling cows bugle.
I like how you added that little high pitch right at the end as you drop off. It's like you're coming down and then, I kind of like that.
And that's just kind of I think I learned that one from Dirk Durham as
Yeah,
well.
it's his signature, I think.
And I have noticed it's, I think it changes the typical bugle that is heard out there, whether it be another hunter or an elk, and changing new is mostly good sometimes.
Yeah,
But,
right. Well, let me try it.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, I didn't get that little high pitch at the end like what you just did, like Dirk Durham does, but
It's tough. You gotta practice and learn it. Just like I said, just like shooting a bow, and you can't just pick up the bow before the season and try it. I have hours spent in calling as well as I bet Dirk does.
oh yeah, for sure.
And it makes the
I
difference.
mean, I've got hours, but I bet your hours are 10x mine.
I have definitely flustered the wife.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let me try that again. I don't feel great about that one, so give me a few pointers after I do it again.
Your high note, and this is where things I don't know if I'd say they matter or they don't. Like I said, I've whistled at elk and had them respond, and so the essence of the bugle, just the average bugle, bull calling cow's bugle, I would say, you're missing the high pitch.
I'm not getting the high pitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a point just before that hard rasp that there's typically average bull to bull, there's that high pitch in there. It's hard to get that high pitch and for such a short duration, and then straight to such a hard rasp.
Now these have different mouthpieces, so let me try with the Rocky Mountain one and see if that makes a difference.
Yeah, that went better for the high pitch, but definitely that high.
Sounds more plasticky still in this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just need to delay the buzz, the lip buzz.
Yep, you want to get it, like if you were going to do just your average bugle, get it to that high pitched spot, and then once you have it there, rasp. Yeah.
I wanted to just start chuckling.
It's hard not to.
I know, it's like a natural
Especially
reflex.
like in our area, I found that chuckle is such a convincing thing to another bull. I've sat and bugled on a ridge once or twice, not hearing anything, and thrown out just a chuckle, and all of a sudden the bull responded to that.
And it's a really good way to tell the difference between hunters and a real elk, because most hunters are terrible chucklers.
Yeah. Yep. That chuckle is a hard one.
Yeah. Well, then speaking of chuckle, let's move right into the chuckle.
Oh man, I still don't feel great about my chuckles.
Dude, don't even give me that. Your chuckles are bomb.
I think they're my bane.
No.
When it comes to elk calling. But again, Dirk Durham, look him up in his elk calling tips. He explains really well how to get that chuckle. And it's hard. That's the one I've probably spent the most hours in, just because it is such a hard thing to do. And you want to get it to that high pitch ring of that bugle, and then just drop it and cut it off. High pitch ring bugle, drop it, and
this is fast.
Yeah, and elk do it at different paces. So I mean, start it out really slow if you have to.
Okay.
Just drop it off.
Well, let's hear it.
Please don't choke on your reed. I know there's been a few times where I've pulled my tongue away and it's pulled that reed to the back depths of my mouth.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah. So, if you can do that, just a real short, sweet bugle, start practicing that and then doing it in succession. And then if you can just speed it up. And then some elk do it slower, faster. I mean,
That chuckle is freaking fire.
it's all from Dirk. Props
You
to Dirk.
cannot tell me that your chuckle is not good.
Too.
For me, it sounds better the farther you go. Especially when you get those breaths coming back in and it comes through the tube, it sounds just like a real bull. And I think that's the coolest part. That actually took me a long time to learn, is how to do that without swallowing your reed. I'll do mine, and then you tell me. My method's slightly, I sound different than you do
And
when I chuckle.
Just like every other elk in the woods, so.
Right? Well, tell me how I sound, but I think I'm gonna have to maybe bugle my way into it. We'll see.
Yeah. Spacing, the drop off's really good. The issue is getting that high pitched ring.
I need more high pitch in that.
Yep, you really want to get to the point that the location bugle rings. You want to get it to there. And now, not every elk sounds like that, and so, I mean, it's easy to fool an elk with calls if they're heated up enough.
Okay.
Definitely better, but still that ring. It's that ring
Yeah.
that's so hard to get, and so maybe try like when I first showed it. Just try to get to that high pitch ring and then drop it off and just keep it condensed and really short.
Okay. Let's try one more time.
Yep. You're
I'm getting there.
You're getting there, yeah. It just takes practice. So I'd say, even without the bugle at first, just try to get that location bugle ring and just drop it and just keep it short. And just try. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to win any competitions anytime soon.
Not yet. You're on the right track.
But that's okay. Well, let's move into cow calls. What do you say?
Easy stuff.
Yeah? When cow calling, I know there's a lot of different kind of cow calls, but what are some of your favorite ways to cow call?
So the biggest one that I see, and even if you buy a pack of Primo's calls, and you read the back and they try and tell you how to call, they tell you to say mew.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you say mew, you involve your lips.
Yeah.
But have you ever watched an elk, a cow elk, go ew, and
Ew.
close their lips? No, they don't. It's just a flat open mouth.
Right.
And I want to say I got this one from Joel.
I think
Turner
so.
as
I
well.
remember seeing his videos that you showed me.
And then, I mean, you change them up, add nasal, take it away. I mean, there's really no right or wrong way to cow call.
I've never tried adding nasal to a cow call.
I mean, and you just get a different cow sound. Now you can sound like 2 or 3 different cows instead of just one cow.
Yeah.
For my cow calls, I think I like that larger, that heavy latex, because I can get it really soft, but I can also get a lot of volume out of it. For me, with the other reeds, like the lighter, the one, I get it to pop.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right for like a cow call, but ultimately, you guys buy calls. I mean, try different calls. What Rocky Mountain, might be hard for me. Could be better for anybody else, and just record yourself. That's what I do. I'd sit on the drive and I'd record myself throwing out different calls, and I would change it from there, and just hours in practice.
Yeah, I think I've bought at least 20 different reeds.
Yep.
At least. And the vast majority of those don't even fit my mouth very well, So to find one that fits my mouth and produces a good sound with my mouth and the way it's built, that makes a big difference. So for sure, go find what works for you, because everyone's mouths are different too.
Yeah, and for some people that they're choking on the reed, I'm going to show you my slobbery reed, I guess. But you can take a pair of scissors, and if you go to the back of the reed, you can trim some of this off. Now, it works best if you have a reed with a closed top, because that will keep the air escaping from up top of the reed, because you want the air to come out right below in the middle of the reed. And so that will keep the air from escaping, especially if you cut this back flange right here. So I've had to do that before when I first started getting into it. I would always gag on it.
Yeah.
And so finding that, cutting the back of that off, it really helped, and then just kind of adapted since then.
Yeah, I actually have taken some of these reeds and cut the wings, the sides completely off.
Yeah, if you have a narrow pallet, cut the sides.
Really narrow and long is how I did it. And those ones actually sounded so good in my mouth.
Yeah.
But I haven't really been doing that lately. It works. I mean, trim them to fit.
Yeah, and you absolutely can. I don't know how deep you can go and if you'll ruin your call. I know I've cut up the Phelps calls and the Rocky Mountain calls, and they work just as fine if they weren't cut up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, awesome. Well, show me your typical cow call, how you start. You're walking through the woods. You're not necessarily trying to attract anything. You're just letting elk know that, hey, I'm just a cow.
If I'm going to start cow calling and I don't know bulls in the area or anything, or like we kind of got a whiff of elk, maybe something's close, just trying to get a response out of it, I just kind of keep it soft, keep it quiet. And I try and sound like maybe 2 or 3 different cows.
Okay.
So that they think it's a small herd, not just a random lone cow, because there's typically not.
Yeah.
You know, a lone elk.
Yeah. Why don't you demonstrate it for me? Yeah. Real quiet.
Yeah.
Real quiet.
That way, if anything is in close to that you just don't know of, you're not blowing it out of there with a loud cow call.
Yeah. What about when you're in the thick of it and it seems like there's a lot of traffic, there's elk moving? Do you ever use estrus calls or more a louder call?
But I do use it.
Okay.
And then I think it was Joel as well. I learned from him to add your voice, add your vocals, and try and get a little frustration in there, and then it sounds like a frustrated cow
A little
just
buzz.
looking for a mate.
Mm-hmm.
But again, still nothing to confirm that that's been a help.
Super effective.
Yeah.
Well, demonstrate it for me, and
So I like to make this call a little louder. I mean, it's a frustrated cow, and she's searching. I've even YouTube videos of cows, you know, trying to estrus mew and stuff, and they're loud.
and I noticed you didn't move your lips at all, really. You just keep your lips open and your jaw just slightly down, and then all the noise is coming from that reed and your tongue.
Yeah.
And your voice.
Yeah, and like I said, you watch an elk, whether it's a bull, bugles, a cow, calf, they don't have lips. They don't move their lips to fluctuate the call in any way. It is all throat and vocal based.
Yeah, it would make sense that we do the same, really. So, well, let me try. You tell me how close I am.
That's really good, yeah.
Sound all right?
Yeah, that sounds really well.
That's the easy cow right here. They got to make it easy for guys like me. But, just kidding.